Hello everyone, Bertina Amy here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would show you 3 different DIY tutu ideas. The first idea is a one-toned panda-themed tutu with tail. I picked up this 3-pack of headbands from the Dollar Tree. They came in 2 black with 1 brown, and so I decided to look at the 2 black ones, knowing that I was going to do a black tutu, and see which one was the longest, and it turns out the longest one was the right size, so I go with that one. Since this was my first DIY tutu, I wasn't sure if I was going to use any white for the tutu, but decided against it because I thought that it made more sense to keep it all black when the butt area of the panda is black anyways. So I take the black tulle from Walmart and I cut it down to the length according to the chart that I found online as far as the size I need for my daughter's tutu. I created a template using a piece of scrap cardboard and then used that as my guide to continue to cut off all the pieces, and then I start attaching them to the band. So you take a piece of tulle that you cut down, fold it in half, and then sort of make a pinch point towards the bent area, and then you push it through a hole and just about an inch through. Then you stick your fingers through that loop that you just made and then pull the tail end through and pull it tight. And then you repeat this process until you make it around the entire band and make 1 row. And in this case, I think I did 3 or 4 rows. This was a year ago, so I don't exactly remember, but it's something along those lines. You can make as many or as little rows as you wish, pending how large and how thick you want or how full the skirt you want it to look, if that makes sense. So with another piece of scrap cardboard, I go ahead and take this black chenille yarn and go ahead and wrap it around several times around the piece of cardboard, and then take an extra scrap piece of the yarn and then tie it right around the entire wrapped yarn, if that makes sense. And then once it's nice and tight, I go ahead and cut out the loops all surrounding the entire pom-pom ball. I hope that makes sense. Then go ahead and give it a bit of a haircut until you make a nice round ball with it. And then attach the tutu. You could do hot glue or you could sew it on. Sew it on would probably be actually a little bit more sturdy, but I chose hot glue for a quick and easy video. The next DIY is a 2-toned sports-themed tutu, in which case we live in the Chicagoland area. My husband is a huge White Sox fan, despite them not doing so well this year. And so I decided to use the black tulle again, as I had extra from the previous project, and then I picked up I think it was like a 1/4 yard of White Sox fabric from Joann's. From the previous project, I still had 2 of those headbands from Dollar Tree, 1 black and 1 brown, and I knew that I needed to extend the piece because it was too small, so I go ahead and cut off the excess off of a brown one and attach to the black, since it's mostly going to be black and white for the tutu. And I go ahead and hand sew the extra brown piece to the black band. So then I go ahead and take my tool and I use my cardboard template and I wrap it around several times and then cut them down to the correct length according to the chart that I found online. Once all the pieces were cut, I go ahead and take one, fold it in half, create a little pinch, and then push it through the hole. And I actually push it through about probably closer to like 2 or 3 inches, so I could stick my fingers through the loop that I just made and then pull the tail through. And I apologize if that didn't make sense in the first round. I under-exaggerated in the length of amount that I would stick through the hole, but hopefully it makes more sense now. So then I repeated that process until a full row was complete on the band. Then I turned my attention to the fabric I picked up from Joann's, and then I cut it down to about 1-inch strips, and this is approximate as I'm going ahead and eyeballing it. Once all those pieces are cut, I go ahead and take a strip, fold it in half, make a little pinch, push it through a hole, pull it out far enough so I could get my fingers through the loop I just made and pull the tail through, and then pull it tight. Then I go ahead and repeat that process until I make a whole band of just the White Sox strips all around 1 row of the band. And this is what the tutu skirt looks like with just 2 rows complete, and I love the way that this turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And last but not least, the third idea is a specialty overlay dragonfly tutu skirt. There will be a matching headband, but that will be for a later video. So I saw this tulle skirt on Temu with dragonflies on it, and I knew I just had to get it because I couldn't find this specialty tulle anywhere else. But I start off first with another pack of the 3-pack of headbands from Dollar Tree, and I also go ahead and pick up 2 rolls of the lavender tulle from Dollar Tree as well. And using another guide chart I found online, I go ahead and measure out the bands and make sure I make it wide enough for my daughter's growing body. So this year she is turning 2, and I follow the chart for that. I go ahead and cut off an extra piece of band from the other part of the pack, and I go ahead and hand sew it onto the band. Next, I go ahead and take my 2 rolls of the lavender tulle, and then I cut them down to the correct length for a size 2 tutu, and I go ahead and cut those down into 1-inch strips, approximately. Then I go ahead and bring in the Temu skirt I picked up. I tried it on, and I made sure I had plenty of material, which I did. I only needed my skirt to be about knee length, and I go ahead and cut off the excess, because this is actually more of an ankle length skirt. And I also made sure to get the largest size to make sure it would fit me and also have plenty of material for my daughter. And I knew the ends would be wider so that I would have plenty of material to use. This skirt had about, I think, 3 or 4 layers. I go ahead and start off with the innermost layer, which is this lavender material, and I go ahead and cut that down to the approximate size length I needed. I think it was like 18 or 19 inches in length, and I make sure that it could be folded over, and then I would be able to attach it. So I cut them down to 1-inch strips, much like the DIY sports one. So I go ahead and do that, and I'm not even looking for perfection here because I know in the end it's not going to be obvious once it's all put together. In the previous videos I did this off camera, but I go ahead on this one and I count the amount of holes in one row so I could determine how many pieces of strips I'm actually going to need in case I need more. But I go ahead and take all the lavender material, cut it down to the length I needed, and then down to 1-inch strips, and then I repeat that process for the tool that came with the material, except for the specialty tool. I go ahead and wait for that for last. But I go ahead and cut all the pieces down to 1-inch strips otherwise. Then I go ahead and attach the strips in alternating patterns between the lavender material, the tool from Temu skirt, and the tool from Dollar Tree. And I alternate that until I make an entire row of the band. Then I bring back the specialty tool skirt from the Temu skirt, and the excess is more than enough for this skirt, and I decide I'm going to push it through the holes through the top row of this band, and I'm going to push it through until there's enough material that it'll hold still long enough for me to hand sew it onto this band. And that was the way I decided to attach it. I decided I didn't want to cut it down to 1-inch strips because I thought it would take away from the beautiful embroidery on this tool. And here's the final result with the skirt on my daughter. It's not perfect, but I really love the way that this turned out. Let me know in the comments below which is your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.